Hey guys, Nuka here. So I wanted to do a video today in regards to these PET bottles, or also known as the PET bottles, and what type of alternate uses you have for them. I know there's a couple of videos out there where they display how to store rice for long periods of time inside these PET bottles. I think that's a great idea. I like it. But in the event that you get tired of storing rice in these and you're looking for an alternate use for these plastic bottles, if you happen to have an extra spare refrigerator or freezer inside of your basement or your garage, these PET bottles will be a great use to you. And the reason being is because you just fill them up with water, and I would say about 3 to 4 inches from the top. You put them in your freezer, and you just let these things turn into blocks of ice. The reason this will be useful for you is because in the event of an emergency or power failure or some type of disruption, you can then use these bottles to help keep your food cold and cool for a pretty good short amount of time. I mean, it's going to be long, nothing like days, but it's definitely going to be a good amount of hours in there. I don't know how long. That's why I have this stopwatch right here. We're going to test a little something out. We'll get to that in a second. I don't know how long exactly these frozen bottles will last you, but it's going to be better than just having absolutely nothing at all. So just another gee whiz for you that you can use. Make sure, as I stated earlier, that it actually is one of these PET or PET bottles. The only reason is because these things are very strong. They can handle a good amount of freeze-thaw cycles when put in the freezer. Yes, they are going to distort a little bit, but that is okay because its primary mission after you drink its contents is solely to be a frozen chunk of ice that you can use to keep your food cool. Now, it's also important to note that you have the threaded caps or something very strong and secure that's going to close down. Not necessarily like a water jug or anything of that such, but something that has threaded caps. And I like the 2-liter design because they fit in just about anywhere compared to a gallon jug. So I would recommend using one of these bottles, a couple of bottles, maybe 10, or whatever you can fit in your freezer, and just let these turn into chunks of ice that you can use later in the event something happens. To our right over here, we have one bottle that is already froze up. This used to be apple cider, as you can tell. This was 64 fluid ounces. I let this freeze up. I've had it in the freezer for about a month. We're going to test this out today to see how long it'll actually last. And if you notice, there's slight distortion to the left of it there, kind of bulged out. But as you can tell, this bottle is still contained, no cracks, still a very good use. This is only cracking in the logo, not the actual bottle. And that's why I have the stopwatch as well, which has already been running. We're going to be using the stopwatch to tell how long approximately it would take for 64 fluid ounces of solid ice to just melt and no longer be effective to us. So we're going to go ahead and take a break here. We're going to come back to this part, and I'm going to leave this in the sink, of course. And we'll be back. Alright, so we're back. And we are sitting close to about 4 hours now. And just looking over at the bottle, it has still got frozen ice in it. The water has risen. And then just doing an overhead view here, we can still see that there is still ice in there. I took the cap off. And it is still cold, still solid, still standing. So, put the cap back on it, and we'll return. Alright, so now we're back for round 2. And as of right now, it is 8 hours, 14 minutes. And looking over at our bottle here, can tell, if you can't see it, the ice is clearly melting away. It's still quite cold though. In the outside bottle, the actual room temperature is about 75, 76 degrees. And the inside of the bottle, I just took a temperature reading of it. It is actually at 69 degrees. So it is actually cooler than the outside, or than the room temperature. And there's still a nice little chunk of ice left in there. So I'm not sure how much longer it's going to last. I personally did not drain out any water. I just left the cap full the whole time. And we'll see how much longer we have to go. Alright, now we'll take a look. We are at 13 hours, 55 minutes. And guys, at this point, it is completely liquefied. There's no more ice left. Yep, all gone. So this was at 13:56, so somewhere between 12, 13 hours. That's how much life one bottle will give you on its own. So imagine if you had a freezer or a refrigerator full of these frozen things whenever the power goes out. This will give you plenty of life. A couple more hours, I'm sure it'll last longer. We'll be able to test that, but at least we know for one bottle it lasts about 12, 13 hours. So I hope this video was informative to you, and rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Later.